Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Management meeting, November 30th, 2015, 9 a.m. Got the roll? Okay. Any public comments? Okay, seeing none, we will open the fertilizer bid. We got one.
We just got one bid.
One bid.
That's terrible, isn't it?
DNF Farm.
What's going on with that?
Oh no.
Something's wrong.
I don't know why. I mean,
You said the bid got sent out to everybody?
Yes. Same list as previous years. A letter. Yes.
yeah, I
They're
don't
all on things. When do they actually get sent out?
November 9th.
They're all on vacation and stuff. A lot of managers are gone this time of year,
Here's the,
doing everything else.
who they are.
Well, you know, I had one that called me a couple of times, and you know, they even asked, you know, how we wanted it, you know,
Yeah.
and so yeah. Okay. DNS Farms, potash application and hauling, $3.50 per ton. DAP application and hauling, $4.80 per ton. Limestone application and hauling, $18 per ton.
So they actually put product down, or, you know, it's just application per ton. I'm
Application.
assuming that's everything.
Yeah.
They didn't really write.
Or is that just a fee for applying it?
That's
No.
what,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be. It should be total.
I just can't believe we didn't get any bids
Yeah.
from any of these people. This is just unbelievable.
But we don't really know if that bid's in line or not, we only get one. That's the problem.
I mean, Van Horn's gotten bid in the past. I don't, you know, that's very...
Yeah, they called. I mean, they were aware of it, they were asking about it.
They have the correct dates for when they're supposed to submit it.
Well, it says in here, 4:30, November 25th. Anybody else want to see these letters?
Does it look like it's in line?
You want it? No.
I haven't looked at the price yet.
Price, yeah. Well, our options at this point are accepted or decline it.
Well, without even really considering it, is there time for us to decline it just based on the fact that there's only one bid and re-invite these people to bid it?
I would like to do that.
I think so too.
I think if I were right on our hands with some of these people, as many calls I get against what's going on with this situation, we're going to have to decline.
I think so too. I mean, I just am really hesitant to go on one bid, and I think it's very, I don't know what to be, I can't even imagine why we don't have any other bids.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just beyond my comprehension.
And I mean, we can decline without prejudice. I mean, they can resubmit.
I think, if nobody else has already done it, I'll make a motion to decline. We need to have something to compare it to.
Now, how much was the DAP on there?
How much what?
How much?
480.
480? See, last year's DAP was 575 a ton. Potash was 460.
Potash is $3.50 per ton. Is that you're going on a per ton price
Yeah,
there?
per ton.
Okay.
So it's in line with last year's.
Yeah, it should have went down.
Yeah.
Price going down to
I'll second the motion.
So you have a motion and a second to decline the bid without prejudice.
Maybe there's a, go ahead.
No,
Maybe there's confusion on who's paying for the fertilizer initially.
Let's see the letter. I think it said in there that, where'd they go? Oh, Adamant. Do you see at the I think it's the last paragraph, it said the bills will be submitted directly to the county board and paid within 30 days. Might be the second to the last
Second,
paragraph.
please send the enclosed bid form above address. And the bids will be accepted, bills will go directly to Iroquois County and be paid in 30 days application. But there still could be a question of who's actually going to check. Because there's a lot of stuff going on, so I mean, that's why maybe people are afraid to do business. They're thinking they're doing business with our tenant, not us. I'm just throwing it out there. That's
Right,
the reason.
yeah. Yes, something was brought up over the weekend to me about
I hear it every day.
So we need to make a decision about, and maybe about resending those letters, and maybe we need to change some wording in there to make it more clear. Payment for fertilizer.
I could go to one of these fertilizer companies and ask them what their reasoning for not bidding was on my way home from that, now.
Maybe that's one of them now.
But I can go do that. I can go do that for you.
Why don't you go do that?
I can call CPS right now, or Van Horn or something.
Why don't you go do that just for input?
I think a lot of them are on vacation right now. But
I know.
all right, well, I'll go home.
But if you
Yeah,
find
because
that
they-
out, then we
when they-
know.
Yeah, I mean, they were calling, asking questions on how to do it and everything.
I'll go home.
And maybe they've sent it and it's in the mail lost with the holiday.
Okay.
When was the 25th? Today's the 30th, Wednesday at 4:30.
While he's out there, are there any other county farm management issues? I mean, they're working on the tile. Yeah.
You got a motion on the floor.
Oh, you're right. We have a motion on the floor.
Should we wait for Adam to come
We
back?
can wait.
So what about the tiling?
I don't know.
Oh,
That's why I was asking. But we have a motion on the floor.
so we're not going to discuss anything until then,
Yeah.
okay? Look at the claims.
What's that?
Here are the claims that you might be able to look at them, or if you like to go by the number.
I'll go off the sheet and I'll sleep. John, you want them? Where?
No, I've lost you too.
The meetings and phones with it, I did talk to some secretaries, and they said they had full intention on bidding, but they don't know. Van Horn said they had intention on bidding, but she doesn't know what happened.
Okay.
That's the secretary. I was talking
Right.
to Tom. Everybody else had to listen.
Well, we have a motion on the floor to decline the bid without prejudice. Is there any further discussion? Yes.
I wonder if Mr. Joyce would consider amending his motion to include rebidding the thing, and bids to be due the next meeting in January. I don't know what that date is from the top of my head.
Well, I think we do, I don't know that we need to amend the motion, but I think we need to have a plan on doing something that maybe Adam can contact these folks and make sure that they get their bids in. We don't want to do the same thing with the same result.
He can
Well,
contact them, any of us could contact them to see what's going on, but there would need to be an official letter go out again. You know, we don't want to put it on
There needs
one
to be a
person.
deadline when we have to have this done.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I'll amend it to give it a 30-day and amend the motion that we'll send out
For the next meeting rather than
Yeah.
30 days.
next meeting, okay, excuse me.
So,
And that we'll send out another letter to them.
and Amanda can just put the appropriate deadline on it.
Okay. That's a pretty lengthy motion now.
Okay. Now, yeah. You have a motion and a second. We're not spending money, so all in favor?
Wait a minute.
No.
Aye.
I'm not spending money.
I know. I was going to ask for her to read the motion back,
Oh.
see what we came up with.
To decline the bid presented by DNS Farms for fertilizer
Without
prejudice, and to present a rebid due by,
January.
I'll- yes,
Management.
right, and I'll insert the correct date, but I'll put the date, the Friday prior to the next management meeting, that won't be what my wording is, but I'll, whatever that date is. Understand, yeah. Okay.
Okay. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay. Any other county farm management issues?
Did you, I just got a text from Kyle saying that IDOT's supposed to be looking at the tile issue. I'll go look at the text again. He wanted me to bring that up during the meeting. Yeah, he says IDOT's finally going out to take a look at that tile hole in the ditch in Route 1.
Well, as long as we're on that subject, when I came in, there's red flags. I don't know how long they've been there up in the corner by the courthouse, and neither Lyle nor I know if it's the village or us, but somebody must be looking at something, or the tenant, or does anybody else know about that?
No,
Nobody said anything to me.
They've been out there for a couple of months.
Oh, a couple months? Okay.
what do they say? Do they say anything on the flags? Or
Do you know
I didn't see
who
it.
put them out?
something like a gas company will put their name on the flags?
Yeah, or the phone company.
Well, you said you saw working on the waterway out there.
And this morning, there's water in the waterway, and it's all, it seems to be flowing. But I was wondering, we had in the minutes to allow $200 for seeding and straw, and I don't think that's been done yet, but it could be because of the rain, I don't know,
Yeah, it's been wet since it's been working on it, really. There haven't been many fit days to...
to do that, so.
I think we kind of lost the window on that by now.
And
Yeah.
it have to wait till spring.
Because we just approved that last meeting,
Yeah.
and we caught some rains that really... There's enough, and there is dry enough to do dirt work, but by the time we got the dirt work done, it rained again. So.
Right.
Well, it hadn't been seeded before. If it got shaped, maybe it won't wash much.
Hopefully it gets done by spring, as soon as it's fit.
Any other,
We need to probably stay on top of that though, because once the frost breaks, that's gonna start eroding out pretty quick if they don't get in there right away.
There needs to be some straw put down or something to stabilize it.
well, I'm surprised nobody was here for. They've been pretty consistently coming. All right. Any other county farm issues? All right. Maintenance supervisor reports. Larry?
I was asked to get a backup on snow removal, so I got a hold of Paul's and then they gave me this. If you had a blizzard or find us out from there, it's liability insurance and,
From Paul's, subject snow removal, the winter season is just around the corner. Our billing is $60 an hour for sidewalk and steps, $100 an hour per piece of equipment on property. Our salt is available for 50 cents a pound. If you have any questions, feel free to call us. Just 2 numbers. Find Adam Paul.
Well, was it $60 for an hour for sidewalk and steps, and what was the other, $100 for what?
Per piece of equipment
Per-
on property.
Okay.
So if they bring 2 trucks, it'd be, I don't know, did they say anything about, is there a minimum for them to come?
And 50 cents for salt.
we kind of dodged the bullet last Saturday, Clyde and I communicated between us. And we got a pallet of salt in the tool shed. I'd like to get one more for this building. Jill just dropped off the truck and salt shaker, so as of now, we don't have a trustee, and as of now, we don't have any help from our community hours. So just
Did you ever hear anything back on that lighting grant you applied for? Not yet?
Now we got it going on.
So we're not going to, that's, okay.
We only have like 30 days.
Okay.
Our street sign directory is being updated, we can pick that up. Talked to her last week. Should have that back, ready to go pretty quick. She's gonna send me a proof, she's gonna email a proof over so we can look at it and make sure we have everything on the They had B&B come in, and they had come in with a truck, take care of a couple lights outside. So we got all the screw lights working outside now. A couple of them were ballast. Actually, they were ballast for the photo cell. We'll go take care of. Public Health Department got their floor taken care of. They moved all the furniture out on Friday. They came in on the weekend and took care of it, and moved all the furniture back in on the following Monday. Heat pump number 6 is done in place and is working. When we first put it in, there was an issue that it was not meeting demand. Called them back, they were here within a half an hour, and what they found out is that thermostat that's on that is not compatible with this new unit. Gone from a 1980 type to updated, it doesn't match up, so they changed some wires around and we got it taped out right now, and they got another step coming for it. So that shouldn't be in charge of us, that should be part of the project, from the original project. Larry talked about the snow thing. Did some tree trimming and all the debris away. FSA's back door lock was not working. We had to check into that. And it was working from the inside but not the outside. It had come loose and some pieces come apart inside of there, so took that apart and got that repaired. And then last week we inspected the cooling tower. We're okay yet. We'll continue to monitor it, but maybe 4 or 5 years down the road, have to get to it. Starting with a little bit of rust, a little tail on the inside. About 4 or 5 years down the road.
Okay, on the sign project.
How'd those floors turn out? You were satisfied with them?
Yeah, we're good.
When was the last time you talked to him?
Last week.
I talked to him, told him that it had to be done this month.
Right, and that's what I had told her at the beginning. She said if we wanted to fill it out, hold the check until it was complete, but she didn't think she was going to be able to get it done before today.
Well, I know it ended up being more work than they thought, but the price wasn't going to go up.
Right. They had a hard time getting it out of there.
So the one side came real easy, the other didn't. What are our options?
Not right. I mean, to get it in the last fiscal year, the work has to be completed. And cutting the check is not the relevant part of the accounting. It's when was the work done. So, I don't know, you could have them, we don't have a bill from her right now, do you? So, what I would recommend that they bill for all their time through today, and we run it through finance, and whatever the extra piece is that is required for the work they have left, it'll just have to go into next year's budget.
How much was budgeted for it?
What was the quote?
Don't recall right away.
13, 14, 13, 14.
So if they basically have everything done except the installation, that might be enough to, that you could just take that out of your budget next year.
Right.
We went, it was 1,400, Iroquois print,
Yes.
1,400. That's what I've got written down here.
Could they just change the way the bill looks?
He had it broke down as far as installation, price, different.
I don't have that.
What I'm saying is, can't they charge us more for labor or something there, and then when it says installation, just put a 0 there?
Oh, Anita's
Your
having
accountant is having a heart attack.
I'm sure you just misspoke. No.
I think the installation was somewhere around 300. So I mean, if they've got everything else done and bills just for that next year, I don't think
Right.
that would be an issue.
It's coming out of your repairs and maintenance. That's your biggest number on your budget. It's just that it's not even December 1st and we're already monkeying around with our budget numbers. But it is what it is. It's not done, so you can't pay it.
Why can't you pay that?
Because...
Don't we get in situations where you have to prepay certain bills to,
And if you prepay it, as an accountant, I'm required to, that's really not an expense related to this current fiscal year. The work is done in next fiscal year, that's where the accounting for the expenditure needs to go. Is in the fiscal year the work was done. Cutting of the check and the payment of the check is not relevant for accounting purposes. The question is, when was the work done? When is the expenditure incurred? So she can bill, or whoever, I'm not sure, woman, man, whatever, they can bill for everything they've done through November 30th. And we'll pay it and book it in FY 15. But the last little part, or whatever is remaining that's not done, has to go in FY 16, because that's when the work is finished. It's not cash. Different than farming, which is cash-based accounting. We're required to have accrual-based accounting, which means the work is when the work is done, or the product's received, not when we pay the bill.
Are those, just as a general question, are those accounting principles, or is that statutory under accounting in the
It's
statute
accounting
accrual?
regulations. It's
It's accounting regulations.
not sure I agree with that. I mean, maybe because you're a government entity, but I get prepaid all the time as a contractor from corporations that are using accrued accounting. I don't know, maybe there's a difference. That's what I don't understand.
That would be not right.
Pardon me? What, I mean, I don't,
Yeah, okay. I can't answer for what somebody else accounts for. All I
Right.
can do is respond for how it needs to be done.
Yeah, and corporations versus government. I'm sure there's different rules. Anyway, we will make sure that it is billed in a way that is satisfactory to our finance director.
And in compliance with the accounting policies or laws or legalism.
All right, any other questions on heater maintenance report? Okay. Discussion on access to the soccer field. So, which one of you would like to present what you're proposing?
Well, I can.
Okay.
What's your name and
For the record.
For the record.
For the camera.
Yeah.
Right there.
Talk to the camera.
Okay, my name is Stan Martin, and we own the ground next to the administrative center here that the Park District has utilized for 8 years as a soccer field, which I'm sure you're all familiar, you drive by it every day. And they would like to purchase that, about 4.5 acres there. We obviously have to have it surveyed, but they want to purchase that soccer field, which would be everything that is grass over there. And what we are asking the county to do would be to grant an easement to that soccer field, probably coming off the corner of the parking lot, which is the width of those trees. So that they would have access to that. Now, Susan is an attorney, but I would think normally they're, 60 feet wide or something?
I believe so.
So it would be an easement, which is just access to cross 60 feet wide. I know that the Park District certainly does not have any intention to build a road or anything else. For the most part, during those soccer is probably all you're going to be doing there anyway. They have those games on Saturday. All the parents park in the parking lot and, walk through the trees to get there anyway. So that's what we're here asking for, is just an easement, which, I'm thinking more on the west end, but it could be, anywhere along there you wanted it to be. I don't think it makes any real difference to you. So that's why I was here, because like I said, I'm going to have that area surveyed, and it would be a lot easier to have them go ahead and survey that area for the easement. So it's not going to cost the county any money to do it. And I don't know, how wide would you say those pine trees are? 50 feet?
Maybe not even, really. I mean, the pine trees themselves maybe are 15, 20 feet, maybe 25. But I guess we'd be looking from the parking lot to and through. Like you said, he's going to have to survey exactly where the property line lies between the county and his piece of property that we want to buy. So that could be established what the distance is between the parking lot and where that property will start. In the past, I know that where that tree line is, that needs to be, the Park District, I guess, has done it one time, kind of clean that up, because it really doesn't, at this point, if you guys would look to do an easement, it doesn't really fall on the county to, on Larry and his guys, whatever you got, to clean that up, but the Park District would go in there and clean that area up too, which would help the presence of looking from 24 or coming down this road here to see into the admin center. So that's something the Park District would intend to do, to clean that up. So we just know that if we purchase that property, we're kind of landlocked. Currently, we lease it from Sam, and like he said, for the last 8 years we've done that. So whatever needs to be done, legality with the county is what we're here for today.
If you've done it that way for 8 years without any problem, why do you need an easement now?
Well,
Well,
purchasing.
purchasing.
Right now it's
You can't have a piece of property landlocked.
But you have a good point, John. You have a good point.
It's been landlocked for 8 years.
No, because he owns the
No, I own the property.
I understand that.
Yes, but
As
I
soon as it-
I have an easement to the farm. It's just,
Through the parking lot here?
no. My easement would be, you know where the driveway is going into my office? It would be right across there would be my easement, okay, to get to the farm. So I have an easement to the farm, but because from that easement to where the soccer field is, there's quite a distance.
Do you know how far that is?
It's probably 300 feet, 350 feet.
One experience we've had is that the day that the parking lot here will be resurfaced, we were not able to access soccer fields or near people had to park on the street. And I know that a lot of parents and grandparents were unable to walk that distance, the longer distance around as we had to at that time. So that's why we want to let them ensure before the property is purchased that there is a way to access it.
I'm sorry, could you both introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I was. I just finished with communication.
And I'm Todd Oster, I'm the president of the Waukega Park District Board.
I said in an earlier meeting, I'll just speak for myself, that I'd like to see the youth have the benefit and the sale, be consummated, and I'd like to play nice for the youth of the area, Some questions that I've had are, of course, the liability to the county, and we've been in touch with our insurance company, and it would basically remain the same as what it has been over the past 8 years. However, right now, the use of the parking lot and the property, is limited to soccer. I wonder, is there any thought that there would be any further construction down the road as to, I don't know, a recreation center or the little guys football league or softball, or I'm thinking about expansion in the future, and then we would run into a situation where we would have parking in the late afternoon, during the day, perhaps, or different times like that, which would create a problem for our parking, our employee parking. It would, also increase the liability, the exposure, I guess I should say. So can you answer about for future?
Sure. That was brought up a little bit before the meeting. We don't have any plans to build a building or anything on this piece of property. Our use has been for the last 8 years, and we can going forward just for, there's 3 different soccer fields out there for 3 different youth levels. If we were to build a building, we really don't have enough. What we have for right now that we're looking to purchase from Sam is enough with soccer fields. So we really don't have any plan. We would have to buy more. We'd have to go to Sam and buy more to do that. So no, we don't have anything. The only thing we do is put, porta potties. But there'd be nothing in the future as far as building.
You'll put those on your 4.5 acres, the porta potties?
Yes. Yeah. In the past, what's happened, what has been, is in between the trees, there's about 2 or 3 little spots you can get through, and those paths will become more prevalent, once we purchase the ground, and then we can clean up that area where the trees and stuff are. We have stuck them right on where the trees are. Now, that can be adjusted once we survey to exactly know, because there's a little gray area between where property would be purchasing and the line of trees. So yes, we can ensure that those porta potties are put on.
And I also have a concern about cleaning up the trees. I think that's an altruistic, and I'm grateful for that offer. But I think when it comes to like trimming trees or removing trees or spraying any herbicides or anything like that, I think that should probably come through us before any action's taken. That's my opinion.
Well,
Yeah.
that's well within.
Sure. A work
Your
together
problem. Yeah, sure.
attitude,
Sure.
I see no problem with granting an easement, so I really don't. It's good for the good of the children.
Well, we spoke to Jim Devine, and he said restrictions could be placed on easements. And I'm for the easement as well, and perhaps the committee and the board would want to consider the easement as requested as long as it is for the use of a soccer field, as is today.
Sure. Or just in case something in the future, 30 years from now or something after everybody.
Right. After we're all
After
gone
things
and
change
everybody's
and-
forgotten.
And now they got a piece of land, they want to build a building or something
Right.
there.
Or move the pool, and then we have people there every day, which would be a whole different consideration for us, just in conducting day-to-day business for the town.
Well, right now, I mean, most, I kind of see some people nodding and stuff when they've seen the soccer program. I mean, we have practices that start at 5:30 at night, which is after pretty much everybody's clear here unless you're working overtime, but, 5:30 at night till dark, most likely. And then on Saturdays, which typically, the only thing I think we've ever had, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, we've had some Saturday coming in to register for vote or something to do with that. I think we've had maybe one conflict where that's happened, but that's a good point.
What's
really.
the length of the soccer season? I really don't. When does it start?
Soccer season starts the end of, let's see now, I'm trying to think. I've coached soccer for so many years, I've seen it
Starts in September.
It's September, yeah. So it's usually, typically, we have a game the weekend before Labor Day weekend. So this year we had 2 weeks. The total season, really, from activity beginning to end, usually is 9 weeks.
Labor Day.
Because Labor Day, we don't have a soccer game. That weekend is pretty much, we don't have games that day because that's a family vacation day for a weekend.
September, October, you would have just ended.
Yeah, middle of October, typically is when we're done.
And then there's one day in the summer for soccer camp.
Yeah.
So it won't change our insurance, you already talked to them, and we have to put them as like a,
Well,
We have to add this.
one condition would be
Additional
we would
insurance.
want to be on your insurance as an also insured.
Okay.
I mean, that is something, whether it helps or not, it is just a layer of protection for the county.
Sure.
I guess a concern that's been voiced is that you have no plans now of doing this, but there is more ground there that could be available in the future and things could change. And so,
like I said, if we have something about that easement, have a restriction on that easement.
Well, the comment was made about the swimming pool, and there's a lot of people that think the park district, since they've managed the swimming pool the last 8 to 10 years, owns the swimming pool. And I think it's the city of Watsiko. So, and if you guys have read the paper, they're talking about, the city of Watsiko was talking about putting a swimming pool in the city county that's going to cost them between $5 to $8 million. I don't think anybody sitting in Iroquois County's got $5 to $8 million. So that's not going to happen. The pool, in my personal opinion, needs to be moved, but we just don't have money. I mean,
And I understand what you're saying. In my life experiences, now, I have found out that you cannot legislate, contract, or something that's going to happen 25 to 30 years down the road, because things change.
Sure. So, I mean, no, that would be, and there's not really there's really not enough room there to put a swimming pool, I mean, there we're back again. I mean, that would be a whole different critter, and
Exactly.
I just do not see that ever happening.
Well, if you take that northwest corner, it'd be a full most of the year anyway.
That's right. That's right.
See, I looked at that, that's where your easement is, or isn't it? Isn't that, that's a
The
big...
easement is right across
I thought
from
it
the
was-
driveway
but-
going to my
Well,
office.
your easement kind of goes down into a...
Yeah, because the county owns that parkway strip on both sides.
Well,
And actually, my easement would be 60 feet wait a minute, 60 feet wide, 120 feet from the center of the railroad tracks, is how it's described. And that was on both sides of that road. Because when I built my office, I had to cut 2 trees down to get the road, which, no big deal, but I mean, that was one of the purposes of that boulevard, was to look nice and have the trees.
What kind of a time frame? I mean, is there a push for this, or?
No, the only thing that we have to do is I have to have it surveyed, because we're going to need to get a legal description for the 4.5 acres that they're buying. And obviously, we're going to need to get a legal description for the easement that we're going to take. And then we're going to set up a closing, so it's probably 60 or 90 days before all that'll happen.
Okay.
So I guess all I really would like to know is, where do you want me to have them survey that easement? At this end of the parking lot, in the middle of the parking lot?
From the north off Erie. Then that takes care of our issue.
Well, but I need your easement.
Well, I guess the big thing is Jim Devine had said something about trying to make it here, and it's just, we'd want to double check that there's nothing that he knows of. That
Okay.
we have talked to him some, but you don't want to move forward and then have him say, oh, what about this? So we want to just double check with him, make sure there's nothing that's going to stop us from doing it. We don't want to say, yeah, let's do it, and then have him say, you can't.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I just need to know where you want it, and I guess to me the most logical would be at the west end of the property, because that's just keeps everything square, I guess.
I think that we really need to look at the easement before we can really get too far down the road with this thing, exactly what the details would be, because there are issues, like, for example, there are things that occur here in the evening. And I know when they're here because I've seen them up in here for night meetings and whatnot. There's various departments here in the building that are here in the evening. We need to have some idea how many vehicles are going to be parked and exactly what area would be set aside for that purpose.
I mean,
Typically, our parents, grandparents, or uncles, whoever brings the children to practice, will park up against the trees.
I know, I realize that, but we have our people park up against those trees also in order to make the parking by the building available to the public. So they're not inconvenienced.
A little bit more
Those people
grace, but
are working at night, and your people are going to park in the same area. There's a conflict, so that's why I think those kind of things should be spelled out.
that was really...
Do your people come in at 5:30?
No, they're here all day.
So they would already
And we do have people that are, we have meetings at 7 o'clock at night.
Oh, for
And
vacation.
normally that's not that many people that are here,
They had
but
fun.
again, I think,
But it was good. I would like to come to the other foot.
I also think that there should be something in the easement as to what the term of the easement would be.
Almost sounds like that would be handled
Well,
with Mr. Devine. Would that be correct?
and if we do any contract, Mr. Devine would be the one writing it up,
No,
because
even though
we've
these
had
classes
issues
are going to be
with
over,
other parties
Something or that.
writing the contract, and then it causes issues. So we want Mr. Devine to write the contract.
we can help
They can write it and we can review it and change it if it needs be. I mean, that's,
No, I would have to.
I don't know where.
but either way, I think we need to know what term, what period of time is this easement for. Is it going to be renewed every year? Is it gonna be
Perpetual.
perpetual easement?
Yeah.
I have a problem with that.
Well, the only issue is this, if the purpose is for the purchase of property, year, they have no satisfaction in the following year.
I understand that, but the reason they want the easement where they're talking about is so that they can have use of our parking lot. They can get an easement going out on the road out there, and they'd have to build their own parking lot.
I didn't pick
Well, I'm not an attorney, so I
One of those two, or a
would
combo.
a parking lot that would be available to anybody that wanted to park here.
To your point about the...
I'd say you're right, the building's public property also.
So if I wanted my wife to pick me up here to go to Danville, I could leave my car here and go to Danville and come back and pick it up.
You probably could do that, but if 1,000 people did that, I think we'd have a problem.
Well,
That
and
was my point about the evening. So the evening, there's just one piece of the property. We're talking about a handful of children, parents typically drop off,
Well, I understand. I know what's happened over the past 8 years because I've been here during those times. My point is just, I think the easement should identify that and identify where the parking, what part of the parking lot is going to be made available.
We don't want an easement for the parking lot. We just want an easement for access to our property. We're not touching the parking lot. All we want is an area that is 60 feet wide and 50 feet long that connects to our property so we can cross it.
And
And I agree, none of the parking lot should be involved in it at all.
No.
And
I agree
as
with
to the term of the length of an easement, if you wanted, if we asked for a restriction that it only be a soccer field, and that if you want a term, we could say during the time it continues to be a soccer field. And in the event the park district decides to farm it or sell it back to Sam to farm it, then we would revisit the issue of...
Well, I would say the easement would only be good as long as the park district owns the ground.
Right.
And as soon as the park district sells the ground,
So it wouldn't run
then
with
there's
the
no
land, whoever bought the property.
Whatever, I'd just like to see that so that we can understand better exactly what we're
Yeah,
talking
so we'd be talking about an area at the corner of the property that's 60 feet wide, and let's just say it's 50 feet long, and that would go with the land as long as the park district owns the land.
Then you sit there and everybody's laughing, so you're like, okay.
Then the easement would go
Yeah.
away.
But it was good for people.
And that might be a much better situation. But we're not talking about getting an easement to the parking lot at all.
No, that shouldn't even be involved.
No.
can
Well,
you,
I understand this is a public, the public owns this, but the statement you made that I don't think I agree with is about the parking lot. For public use. My understanding, that parking lot was put in for people that come here to this administration building to conduct business, whether I'm doing title searches or getting marriage license, or whatever,
Right.
paying taxes.
Right.
It's for the people of the community to use when they come here to do business. And I think John's point was, if you got the parking lot full of vehicles that are not here for that purpose, then you can impact
The other purpose.
negatively the people who are trying to come here to this building to use it for the purpose it was intended.
And
We also do have an area out here in the northeast corner of the parking lot that's set aside for the veterans bus when it comes. I think that's once a month, isn't it?
Isn't that just here, like from 8:30 to 4:30?
Whatever, but I mean, we set aside that area for that purpose. They broke down the other day. I don't recall if they broke down here, but they broke down to...
The conversations were funny. I'm like sitting there, I'm like, we're just talking about that over there.
Well, I would like,
I'd just like to know exactly what, we're talking
Like everything was
generalities
sounding
here.
the
I think we-
same. And then we found out it
Bring
wasn't
to
the
a head.
same, like Puerto Rican and...
okay, the specifics would be,
can we get it in writing with the diagram of where you want it, and give that to Jim Devine for his review? I think that's going to be,
And we have two specific requests. One that the easement only runs with the term of the soccer field and as long as it's a soccer field, nothing else. If it becomes something else, then the easement is terminated.
Right. I have a aerial picture of that. And I would just draw on here.
Of course, they have a computer with water with it, but I don't even know if I'll call
Where I'm talking.
I understand, but what you don't understand is I'd like to see the specifics of the whole easement presented in writing, like Mr. Barron suggested.
If you,
Okay.
none of us are lawyers, so that's
Okay.
why we have Mr. Devine,
Okay.
you know, and
So I will get with Jim and we'll get the specifics.
that would be best. I mean,
All right.
that's why we wanted to get as many of our questions answered as possible,
Sure.
and
Sure.
we're glad that you guys came to answer them.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity, and I guess what I was going to say is I would just think that between the county board and the park district, things could be worked out amicably between you two on whatever problems would arise in the future, whether it is an abundance of parents' cars parked at the wrong time, which they could reschedule their events, or any other.
Right. We,
I only speak for myself. I'm not against doing it. I also agree with John, we need to iron out some details on it, but my opinion, as long as the kids are out here playing soccer, they're not getting in trouble in town, you know, I mean, with constructive outlets for kids.
We have, you know, there are some cases we have lack of that, period, not just in Iroquois County, but,
Right.
you know, nationwide.
I mean, I'm not against it at all. I think you need to support them. It's just a matter of how we go about it, and I don't speak for anybody else in this committee except myself. I think we just need to iron out, you know, we need to watch our liability. We need to look at our responsibility to people who are coming here to do county business, whether it be employees or individual citizens. And beyond that, I think it, you know, we just need to make sure that we're doing what we're doing is right and fair to all parties involved.
Well, let me ask this, has there ever been, you know, you guys for however long terms you've been on the county board, has there ever been a problem? I mean, John, you say you've seen it.
No,
Okay, in 8 years, I don't think we've heard
that's why I asked
any
the question
problem.
before as to why you even need an easement, and it's worked so well the way it has.
Well,
The point is, when you put something in the form of an easement in writing, then it's a legal document, and it's binding on all parties, and I think we have a responsibility to the taxpayers of the county to make sure that it suits, you know, from our side of it, just like you have your, and that's all we're asking. I mean, no one here said we don't want to do it.
Right.
All
Well,
we're-
I just thought maybe, you know, since we've got the committee here, if there was any issues, let's clear it now, you know, or
It's just, like I said, it's a legal document, puts it in a whole different light than what it's been for 8 years. 8 years it's worked fine. And I would like it to stay that way, to be honest with you, because legal documents are something that sometimes cause trouble further down the road. You know that as well as I do. But be that as it may, if we have to have a legal document, then we have to discharge our responsibilities from our end of it.
But it can't stay that way. It can't have landlocked land when you buy it. It can't stay that way legally.
correct.
That settles that.
That's the only reason we're here today.
right.
There's other ways of
Otherwise,
getting an easement.
just keep doing
This isn't the only option, that's all. This is the option they prefer, and I think we support that. But there are other options as far as the easements go.
Just on a side topic, is the program expanding, staying the same, getting smaller as far as number of kids?
It's staying the same or expanding slightly. I mean, you get a little roller coaster sometimes involved, any of our programs, really. It depends on, to be honest with you, it depends on families' finances. You know, I mean, because there is a fee for soccer in district as opposed to out of district. But those numbers seem to maintain. Now, with this being said, and most of you probably know, there's a big push, not to get into politics or anything like that, but football, you know, the big thing with concussions all the way through the NFL, all the way down. You don't hear about that with soccer, you know, and it makes you wonder that maybe that program may expand some because parents are like, you know, bumping heads.
You know, I did that.
Bumping during the soccer. So if the push is really decrease football, one would like to think that maybe soccer will build and increase.
I was talking to my son.
But there have been some issues with soccer when there's a lot of headers involved.
Oh, yeah.
There have
Oh, yeah.
been
Not
some
just that
issues.
there hasn't, but and there hasn't been a whole lot of focus on
Really?
that.
But there's not, with the kids, there's not many headers, I don't believe, going on out there.
And what about?
Not the ages we've got
No.
now.
Yes,
You know,
I guess that brings up the point of if it is expanding even slightly, and if we're already maxing out our parking lot, what do you plan to do for future?
He was probably like, do I laugh or?
Yeah, so
Sometimes
to
there's
this
parking
day,
on the grass
we
and
joke
stuff,
about it.
and that becomes an issue.
I really don't have an answer for you with that one. I mean, what we could do is, and I know that there's sometimes that we get full parking, and it all happens when there's if you have one game starting, people arriving for the next game, it's overlap of parking is what we end up having. If it wouldn't be such a thing, if we would space the games out, that would relieve that parking lot a little bit. And that's something we could look at, you know, if we space it out a half-hour difference between the first game of the day to the second, you know, because then you get travel going back and forth with people getting out of the way and we can alleviate that. That's something we can look at as a board. You know, I could bring that up at our next board meeting, that that's one of your concerns that you've got. And I think it's a valid one, sure. I mean, and I really can't tell you what will happen, you know, in the future as far as if it does expand, if it goes exponentially. So.
And I think the other thing to consider, if you look at class sizes in Miracle County, you're seeing a diminishing number of children. And so I think, you know, even if we have a slight increase in the number of those playing soccer, we can look at one direction that we're going to age range for soccer. My understanding is like decrease in the number. We are not that significantly, I don't know if you're promoting that.
Maybe, but we also have the two factories doing substantial hiring over the next couple of years, so that could affect
To the church.
the age of kids and stuff.
Well, look, if we had really.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's go with that. I mean, I'm all for that. We'll deal with the, you know, if we can bring more jobs and everything else here in Lake County, that's what we need anyway.
She talked about.
Okay, if they do start expanding and need more parking, are you available to sell them land on the other side for parking also as an expansion?
Hey, everything I got for sale.
At the right price.
Well, you know.
Everything's got a price also too, you know.
I'd like to recap what we've discussed here in the way of asking, and if there are other details that you want, John, I'd like to hear what, you know, specifically. But one is that the county would be an additional, named as an additional insured on the park policy. And two, that the easement is restricted to
You know, have all these people.
the land being purchased by the park board being used as a soccer field. And that when it ceased to be a soccer field, the easement would end. And were there any other details that we wanted to take to Mr. Devine when they meet? I assume you're going to take Susan with you to meet with Mr. Devine.
I think that it's clear that the easement is not going to cover anything in our parking lot, but I do think that might be a good idea if we could work some type of separate agreement on it.
What would you like to see in that agreement?
Well, one of the things was brought up about people parking on the grass. We have issues with that right now in various areas around the building where people are parking in places where they shouldn't be. But nevertheless, I think that as long as it's clear that it won't interfere with other things that are going on here.
What do you mean it's good that some of them still come to the house?
One issue that I don't think is a big concern, but there is wear and tear on the parking lot also. They brought up how they were inconvenienced when we resurfaced the parking lot this summer. We didn't do that for free. We spent a lot.
No, but we would be resurfacing the parking lot even if there were no soccer players.
I understand
every
that.
so-
I said it's not a
maintenance.
matter that I think I'm concerned about, but I think if nobody else thinks you need to have a separate agreement on it.
Well, when it comes to telling people where they can and cannot park, I doubt anybody here can tell somebody where they can't park when it comes to those games. They're gonna park wherever they, you can have all the rules and signs you want, they're gonna park there. Even people going in our county doing business in the county building, kind of park wherever they want. You know, I know it.
They're doing it now.
I just don't think there's any. We can make the rules if we can. Especially those games. The park where they get close.
They knew my dad real well.
That's right, the park where they get close, they have to walk the least to get to the field, normally. I mean, that's,
Yeah, right. I mean, that's human nature.
sure it is.
You know?
But I agree with Wade. You summed it up. I think have Jim Devine off an easement, move on.
I think so. Meet within 30 days.
Get it done.
I figured, stop beating it up.
We will let
And it's always hard to
Mr.
get
Devine
somebody that's right
look
there,
over the agreement.
where one plan is cheaper, the other plan is a
If he
little more expensive. and then
approves
the
of
other
it,
one's cheaper, the
comes
other
back to the
one's
committee,
more
then we'll
expensive,
go
just like
forward with it.
100%.
Tell them we want to do this in 30 days. Hopefully, that's a goal. Unintended.
I think we all have a unified one on that one.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much.
I mean, it's the convenience, because I mean, they're wanting to be going,
All right.
everyone, they're going to have to change drugstores.
Has everybody looked at the claims?
And then go to KP to be site. Even
Oh.
if you do go to
Well, that big
KP
of a-
every week,
Any discussion?
Then you're covering your $100 anyway.
but it's like if you go to Walmart instead of the
Second.
drugstore, I'm going to spend
Okay.
more. That's just me.
Roll call.
Pro. Yes, sure. We haven't quite gotten started anyway.
I just got here, so don't feel bad.
Any old business?
It's been a long weekend. Yeah, that too. I did mind, I'm sorry. One out of the state to the other. At least you made it safely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank God the weather was good. Waterway. Got it bronze dark.
Any new business? The only thing I would think of is the agency contract is in May, but we weren't going to discuss that till January, February, right?
Let's start discussing it in January. It always takes an extra, you know, it always takes longer than what it's supposed to.
It rained a lot, like.
Any other new
The
business?
ditches were full.
I'm making motion to adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.